July 7th, 2025. All Progressive Congress stakeholders from Kano State rose from a one-day crucial meeting with a resolve to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second-term bid. The stakeholders who held the meeting in Abuja said the meeting is to assess the state of the party and to strategize on positioning themselves for victory in the 2027 general elections. Global Television political correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
The APC stakeholders meeting had in attendance the who is who of APC in Kano State. Former governor of Kano State, former national chairman of the APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, led the deliberations along the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, and Kano State chairman of the party, Abdullahi Abbas. Also present were serving and former members of the National Assembly, commissioners, local government chairmen, and other influential leaders of the party from Kano State. In his remarks, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje commended the unity within the party in Kano and reassured President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the state's unwavering support for his administration. He praised the president's achievements so far, particularly in infrastructure, agriculture, and economic reforms, noting that Kano people have continued to feel the impact of his leadership.
Critical stakeholders of APC of Kano State, we are here and we examine the progress, the successes that we have achieved in our great party in Kano State. We are also here in order to assure Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that our party in Kano State, we are solidly behind him.
The Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, described the meeting as timely, stressing that the APC in Kano remains strong and committed despite the outcomes of the last elections. He expressed optimism that with the renewed strategy and stakeholders' engagement, the party will reclaim its dominance in the state.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has done very well for our state and indeed the entire nation. We encountered several projects that are being implemented. Others are ongoing in our state and indeed the entire northern part of this country.
The Kano State chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Abbas, in his remark, emphasized the importance of unity and active engagement of all party members at the grassroots level. He outlined plans to intensify membership drives, strengthen local structures, and ensure that every ward in the state is fully mobilized ahead of the 2027 elections.
Key points highlighted are two: strengthening party internal unity and discipline, and enhancing grassroots mobilization.
Resolution reached at the meeting included strengthening grassroots mobilization, reconciling aggrieved members, and intensifying membership drives across all 44 local government areas of Kano State. The stakeholders unanimously resolved to stand firmly behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and ensure overwhelming support for his administration. The meeting ended with a vote of thanks and a renewed pledge of loyalty to APC both at the state and national levels. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has enumerated steps to strengthen peace, development, and human rights across the globe. Speaking at the general debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, the Vice President says to achieve peace and development, Nigeria must have a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. Mukhtar Kasim reports.
Speaking at the general debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, Vice President Shettima stated that there is need for urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing. He added that countries that host minerals must, benefit from those minerals.
Nigeria must have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. This should take place. This should take place as part of a wider process of institutional reform. 2, we need urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing. 3, countries that host minerals must benefit from those minerals. And 4th, the digital divide must close.
The Vice President also linked the call for the reforms to broader economic and social concerns, urging urgent action on sovereign debt relief, fair access to trade and finance, and leveraging Africa's strategic resources to drive sustainable development.
A bold step to reform the wider United Nations system for greater relevance, efficiency, and effectiveness in the face of unprecedented financial strain. We support the drive to rationalize structures and end the duplication of responsibilities and programs so that this institution may speak with one voice and act with greater coherence.
With Nigeria's renewed push for a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council, Vice President Shettima says the time has come for Africa's voice to be fully heard in shaping global peace, security, and development. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
The federal government has announced Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation, as a theme for the 2025 Independence Day celebrations. Officials say the theme reflects Nigeria's resilience since 1960, while urging unity, patriotism, and collaboration among citizens, institutions, and stakeholders to build peace and prosperity under the Renewed Hope agenda. Events marking the celebration include a Jumat prayer on September 26th, a church service. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. News Express continues shortly. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to News Express. Now, the federal government has announced Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation, as a theme for the 2025 Independence Day celebrations. Officials say the theme reflects Nigeria's resilience since 1960, while urging unity, patriotism, and collaboration among citizens, institutions, stakeholders to build peace and prosperity under the Renewed Hope agenda. Events marking the celebration include a Jumat prayer on September 26th, a church service on September 28th, and a World Press Conference on September 29th in Abuja. Moving on now to the Jigawa State House of Assembly has passed 58 billion naira supplementary budget estimate for the 2025 fiscal year. The legislation followed the adoption of a report by the House Committee on Appropriations at the plenary on Thursday. Chairman of the committee, Ibrahim Hamza Adamu, said the supplementary budget arose from expected additional revenue accruing to the state from the Federation account. The 2025 appropriation law approximated the sum of 698.300 billion naira only for the recurrent and capital expenditure program of the state during the 2025 fiscal year. The federal government of Nigeria, through the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, have announced a major breakthrough in HIV prevention following a landmark price reduction of the revolutionary drug Halacavari. The announcement was made at the Clinton Global Initiative 2025 annual meeting on the sidelines of the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York. Under the new agreement, the cost of the twice-yearly HIV prevention injection has been slashed from $28,000 to just $40 per person per year. The development marks a medicine accessible to millions across Nigeria and more than 100 low and middle income countries. Lenacapavir has been shown to be up to 100% effective in preventing new HIV infections. The Katsina State Executive Council has approved the procurement of 5,000 cartons of ammunition for the Community Watch Corps vigilante groups and hunters to strengthen support for security operatives and tackling banditry across the state. Now, the decision was among the several resolutions reached during the Council's 14th regular meeting presided over by Governor Diko Umaru Rada on Wednesday in Katsina. Commissioner for Information Dr. Bala Salisu Zago told journalists that the move was designed to deepen collaboration between former security agencies and local security outfits. At least 5 worshippers were shot dead when bandits attacked a mosque during early morning prayers in Yatodo village, Safei local government area of Zamfara state. The attack, which happened on Friday morning, sent a shockwave across the community. Witnesses said that bandits stormed the mosque and opened fire indiscriminately, killing 5 people on the spot and leaving many others with gunshot wounds. A resident who spoke under condition of anonymity for security reasons said the attackers also abducted an unsuspected number of worshippers before fleeing into nearby forests. Moving on to the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has flagged off the airlifting of Christian pilgrims to Israel and Jordan from the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri. Represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, the President praised Governor Hope Uzodima's infrastructural strides and urged pilgrims to be patriotic on their spiritual journey. Global TV News correspondent Amarachi Ibe tells us more.
Mbakwe International Cargo Airport again played host to international flights as Christian pilgrims boarded for Israel and Jordan. Earlier this year, Muslim pilgrims has also been airlifted from the same airport, a development officials says underscores Imo's rising role in aviation. Speaking on behalf of President Tinubu, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, commended Imo's transformation and reminded the pilgrims of their duty to the country.
Aside from the spiritual well-being of the people, the governor has also embarked on infrastructural development across all senatorial zones, which is the first of its kind in the history of the state. It is important at this point to admonish the intending Christian pilgrims to show patriotism as they embark on this spiritual journey.
Governor Hope Uzodimma described the exercise as a reflection of Nigeria's steady progress under the current administration. He noted that with the bold reforms of Tinubu's administration, Nigeria is moving in the right direction and urged pilgrims to pray for peace.
With the bold reforms of the president, we are moving in the right direction. Our revenue is growing every day. So as you journey to the Holy Land, carry Nigeria in your heart. Pray for peace. Pray for prosperity. Pray for unity.
Representing the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, Chief of Staff to the State Government, Caleb Ajebu, congratulated the pilgrims and encouraged them to make Nigeria proud.
Go out there and make Nigeria proud. Go out there and let them know that you are there to add value to your spiritual life so that upon your return, people will be able to take note of the fact that glorious things are being spoken concerning you.
Supervising the airlift, the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission expressed appreciation to the governor for his support and reminded pilgrims that their journey is primarily spiritual.
I want to thank most profusely the Executive Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, CON, for his visionary leadership in Imo State. Our intending pilgrims should note that pilgrimage is not tourism. It is not a jamboree. Rather, it is a spiritual journey of faith, which is aimed at having an encounter with God.
With the symbolic flag off now complete, officials says the journey is not just about faith, but also about patriotism, unity, and continuous renewal of Nigeria's image abroad. From Sam Mbakwe International Airport, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
In business news now, U.S. President Donald Trump announced Thursday punishing tariffs on pharmaceuticals, big rig trucks, home renovation fixtures, and furniture, reviving his global trade war. The late evening announcement is the harshest trade policy by the president since last April's shock unveiling of reciprocal tariffs on virtually every U.S. trading partner across the globe. Starting October 1st, we will be imposing a 100% tariff on any branded or patented pharmaceutical product unless a company is building their pharmaceutical manufacturing plant in America, end of quote. The Republican wrote on its Truth Social platform. Italy's antitrust regulator snaps Italian energy giant Eni and 5 other companies with fines totaling more than 936 million euros, $1.1 billion for restricting competition in the sale of fuel. The authorities said in a statement that Eni, Esso, IPQ8, Saras, and Tormel coordinated to set the value of the barrel component factored into fuel prices, which tripled between 2019 and 2023. A probe following a whistleblower's complaint revealed that the companies implemented power price increases largely condescending, which were driven by direct or indirect information exchanges among them, the authority said. President Bola Tinubu has moved to restart oil production in Ogoni land in Rivers State. The president disclosed this when he confirmed post-mortem's national honors of commanders of the Order of the Niger, CON, on the late Ogoni 4, Albert Bardey, Edward Kabani, Theophilus Orage, and Samuel Orage. Ramsey Enoch Agbo tells us more.
Conferring the honor at the presidential villa in Abuja, President Tinubu urged the Ogoni people to embrace reconciliation and unity after decades of division. He assured stakeholders that his administration would support Ogoni land's journey towards peace, environmental remediation, and economic revival, while also facilitating the return of oil exploration to the area. The president therefore directed the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, to begin engagements between Ogoni communities, NNPCL, and other stakeholders to finalize modalities for restarting operations.
I'm encouraged by the overwhelming consensus of the Ogoni communities to welcome the resumption of oil production under new equitable terms, resourceful commitment. Government will deploy every resource to support the Ogoni people in this march towards shared prosperity.
Chairman of the Dialogue Committee, Don Baridam, and the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, said the committee ensures that all stakeholders were carried along in the process, noting that the report reflects the collective will of the Ogoni people. He noted that the report captured the people's demands for structured participation in oil production, renewed environmental cleanup, and a framework for sustainable development.
They view renewed activity not as a return to the injustice of the past, but as an opportunity to reset relationships, accelerate remediations, and unlock economic inclusions. This consensus, Mr. President, is neither coerced nor conditional on empty promises.
Myself, standing as a governor, we will work together to make sure that this impulse that have existed for many years will be resolved finally. There is every sign that this government is serious about resolving these issues. And I think we need to give them all the necessary opportunity.
Earlier, the NSA, who presented the committee's report, said the consultation exercise engaged all 4 Ogoni zones with input from local communities, traditional leaders, and the diaspora.
The Ogoni people are not merely asking for tokenism, but for structured participation through equity, development, funds, employment, and institutional safeguards.
Oil exploration in Ogoni land has been suspended since 1993 following protests against environmental degradation, culminating in the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other activists in 1995. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
Over now to the foreign scene now. Sighting of a suspected drone briefly shuttered the Danish airport on Friday for the second time in a few hours after the country's prime minister said the flights were part of hybrid attacks that may be linked to Russia. Drones have been seen flying over several Danish airports since Wednesday, causing one of them to close for hours, after sighting earlier this week prompted Copenhagen Airport to shut down. That followed a similar incident in Norway, drone incursions in Polish and Romanian territory, and the violation of Estonian airspace by Russian fighters' jets, which raised tension in light of Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. In sports stories now, the Flying Eagles arrived in the Chilean city of Talca ahead of their participation in the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Nigerians place in Group F alongside Norway, Saudi Arabia, and Colombia, with all group matches scheduled to be played in Talca. Upon arrival, the 2-time Under-20 World Cup finalists were warmly received by the officials from FIFA, the local organizing committee. The team later held its first training session in the evening to begin final preparations for the tournament. Toby Amason has climbed to 3rd place in the latest World Athletics 100-meter hurdles rankings, marking her Nigerian's highest-ranked athlete following her silver medal at the World Championship in Tokyo. The 28-year-old, who is the world record holder, rose from 9th place to 3rd after scoring 1,430 points, moving in behind United States' Grace Stark, who tops this ranking, and newly crowned world champion Ditaji Kamboji of Switzerland, who sits 2nd. Amason also made a major leap in the overall women's ranking, raising 40 places from 68 to 28. She is currently the only Nigerian woman inside the global top 100 after Favor Ofili, who previously featured, dropped out following her switch of allegiance to Turkey and absence from the championship. As Global TV News Experts comes to an end, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Ibadan, Oyo State, to attend the coronation of the new Olubadan Rashidi Ladoja. In business, Italy's Art Trust regular slabs Italian energy giant Eni and 5 other companies with fines totaling more than 936 million euros, $1.1 billion, for restricting competition in the sale of fuel. And on the foreign scene, a sighting of suspected drone briefly shuttered a Danish airport on Friday for the second time in a few hours after the country's prime minister said the flights were part of hybrid attacks that may be linked to Russia. And finally, in sports, the Flying Eagles arrived in the Chilean city of Talca ahead of their participation in the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. That's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using the Global TV handle at Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. you.